Okay, let me try to get everything recorded on this computer, approve on this computer, record the cloud. Sure this is going. Live stream any second here. There we go. Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Roger Paul, and tonight we are going to continue our study on paper with the Urantia Book on paper 140, the Ordination of the 12. And this is on page 1568 of the original book, or paper 140 in the rest of the books, 01. All right, let me swap this out to the next one. I think we're ready to go. You okay, dude? Okay. There we go. All right, paper 140. Just before noon on Sunday, January 12th, AD 27, Jesus called the apostles together for their ordination as public preachers of the gospel of the kingdom. The 12 were expecting to be called almost any day, so this morning they did not go far from the shore to fish. Several of them were lingering near the shore, repairing their nets and tinkering with their fishing paraphernalia. That's a word, isn't it? Paraphernalia. All right, Diane, would you take the next one?
As Jesus started down the seashore calling the apostles, he first hailed Andrew and Peter, who were fishing near the shore. Next, he signaled to James and John, who were in a boat nearby, visiting with their father Zebedee, as mending their nets. 2 by 2, he gathered up the other apostles, and when he had assembled all 12, he journeyed with them to the highlands north of Capernaum, where he proceeded to instruct them in preparation for their formal ordination.
So they were all kind of hanging out, kind of fishing and fixing things, waiting for this big event. All right. Pam, would you take the next one, please?
For once, all 12 of the apostles were silent. Even Peter was in a reflective mood. At last, the long waited for hour had come. They were going apart with the master to participate in some sort of solemn ceremony of personal consecration and collective dedication to the sacred work of representing their master in the proclamation of the coming of his Father's kingdom.
So they were all expecting this, right? And here's a picture where they were. You can't see it very well on this one, but on the website it comes up really well. Let me see if I can actually show y'all this picture on the website, because it is really a nice picture. Let me do this here. Let me stop the share. Share. That's where I just was. Here we go. Google Chrome. Here we go. Y'all see that a little better?
Yes. No, it's about the same.
About the same.
About the same.
All
It's
right.
clearer.
Yeah, it's a little clearer, not by much. But let me kind of, well, it's hard to point it out on this one. But well, I could go over here and point it out. Can you see my mouse on that? Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Okay. It says here, they have it numbered 1 through 7, I think. All right. And it says, number 1, after 5 months of training, Jesus takes the 12 apostles to the highland, January 12th, 27, Sunday. And then on number 2, it says Jesus' ordination sermon, the so-called Sermon on the Mount. So the Sermon on the Mount's really the ordination sermon. We had talked about this back in 2014, I believe, when we did this back then. Jesus sends apostles away for a few days. All right. And then number 3, it says Jesus holds, in the bolt here, Jesus holds a 4-hour teaching conference about the affairs of the kingdom with Peter, James, and John on Thursday. And then 5, Andrew finds Jesus weeping in the boat. They leave around noon, and that's on Sunday. All right. And then number 4 says they go back to the highlands, consecrate the 12, going into the world to preach the glad tidings of the kingdom. All right. And then it says they go to the point on the location near Pella the next day. So they were up here at Bethsaida. They go to Capernaum, and then they go up to Chorazin for the ordination. Okay. Let me switch this back. I don't know how well y'all saw that, but you can go out to the website and it's really a
Mhm.
picture on the
Mhm.
website.
Wonder why he went to Chorazin for the ordination.
Because it was kind of
Actually, it was in the hills.
the hills of Chorazin.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a natural location where they could enjoy themselves, really. Well, it does look about the same as the other one, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back up here and go to the next paragraph. And here's another picture. All right, preliminary instruction. I lost everybody's. Where y'all at? Y'all are hiding on me. I love you.
It's
Hmm.
Rodney's turn.
All right, Rodney, will you take this one? That's better. I can
Okay,
see.
yeah. One preliminary instruction. Before the formal ordination service, Jesus spoke to the 12 as they were seated about him. My brethren, this hour of the kingdom has come. I have brought you apart here with me to present you to the Father as ambassadors of the kingdom. Some of you heard me speak of this kingdom in the synagogue when you first were called. Each of you has learned more about the Father's kingdom since you have been with me working in the cities around and about the Sea of Galilee. But just now, I have something more to tell you concerning this kingdom.
Okay, I'm not going to comment much on this because these are all Jesus's words on these next few
Mhm.
slides. So, Gary, would you take the next one?
The new kingdom which my Father is about to set up in the hearts of this earth children is to be a everlasting dominion. There shall be no end to this rule of my Father in the hearts of those who desire to do his divine will. I declare to you that my Father is not the God of Jew or Gentile. Many shall come from the east and from the west to sit down with us in the Father's kingdom, which many of the children of Abraham will refuse to enter his new brotherhood of the rule of the Father's Spirit in the hearts of the children of men. So
Okay.
many of the Jewish children will refuse to enter his new brotherhood.
Yeah, he knew this would happen, right? He understood that this would happen. Okay, the other thing is he's here for all people, all beings, even the aliens. Okay, so he's here for everyone. And he also clarifies the fact that once this kingdom is started, once they started this, it will go on forever. It will never end, right? As long as you do the will of God the Father.
Mhm.
All
I,
right.
I just if he's saying the earth will go on forever,
No, the kingdom within the hearts of men will go on forever. It's not got anything to do with physical matter.
okay.
Okay, it's all in the spiritual
I wanted
act.
to clarify that.
Yeah. The power of this kingdom shall consist not in the strength of armies, nor in the might of riches, but rather in the glory of the divine Spirit that shall come to teach the minds and rule the hearts of the reborn citizens of this heavenly kingdom, the sons of God. What is he talking about there? The Spirit of truth, right?
Mhm.
This is the brotherhood of love wherein righteousness reigns, and whose battle cry shall be peace on earth and goodwill to all men. This kingdom which you are so soon to go forth proclaiming is the desire of the good men of all ages, the hope of all the earth, and the fulfillment of the wise promises of all the prophets. So this kingdom that he's starting is bringing those prophecies into being. Okay, Diane.
Mhm.
So for you, my children, and for all others who would follow you into the kingdom, there is set a severe test. Faith alone will pass you through its portals, but you must bring forth the fruits of my Father's Spirit if you would continue to ascend in the progressive life of the divine fellowship. Verily, verily, I say to you, not everyone who says, Lord, Lord, shall enter the kingdom of heaven, but rather he who does the will of my Father who is in heaven.
So just because you claim to be a Christian, or just because you claim to follow Jesus, does not necessarily mean you're going to go on indefinitely in the mansion worlds. You have to start to develop and produce spiritual fruit. And what are we talking about? He gives a whole sermon on this in another place, the fruits of the Spirit. Okay, and we'll talk about that when we get to that again. But the fact is this: the key to staying in the kingdom is doing what?
The will of the Father.
The will of the following God's lead, right? All right. Pam, would you take the next one?
Yes, your message to the world shall be, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and in finding these, all other things essential to eternal survival shall be secured therewith. And now would I make it plain to you that this kingdom of my Father will not come with an outward show of power or with unseemly demonstration. You are not to go hence in the proclamation of the kingdom, saying it is here or it is there, for this kingdom of which you preach is God within you.
Okay, so he always comes back to the message is God is within you, and your duty, your whole duty as a human being and those afterwards, after the human uh, proclamation in our life, is to follow the will of God and seek spiritual values, is it not?
Mm.
That's our whole work. All this other stuff we do in life is unimportant. It really is. It's the seeking of the spiritual life that will straighten out the world and get us all to light and life, and will add experience to the supreme. Okay? Preach a whole sermon on that. Okay, Rodney.
Whosoever would be great in my Father's kingdom shall become a minister to all. And whosoever would be first among you, let him become the server of his brethren. But when you are once truly received as citizens in the heavenly kingdom, you are no longer servants, but sons, sons of the living God. And so shall this kingdom progress in the world until it shall break down every barrier and bring all men to know my Father and believe in the saving truth which I have come to declare. Even now is the kingdom at hand, and some of you will not die until you have seen the reign of God come in great power.
And that's exactly what happened, didn't it? If you
I
think
think
about it,
he's
huh?
I think he knew that. Is he talking about Judas Iscariot, perhaps?
No, he's
Did he
talking
think
about that
Judas?
the message of the kingdom will spread quickly like wildfire. And that's exactly what happened in Jerusalem. after the death of Christ. So they see the kingdom come in great power because of the spread of the gospel so quickly and so far. Even though they changed the message to, Jesus died for your sins, even though they did that, still the message of the kingdom still managed to go forward in a wonderful, great amount that no one could have ever expected to happen. Because if you think about it, Rome was the rule back then, not spirituality, was it? So the spiritual uplifting of that period of time was so fantastic, it's hard to believe. And that's what we're tinkering on the brink of right now, believe it or not. The world is so messed up with materialism and physical stuff and money and all these other things that we're going to have to get over this for this spiritual awakening to happen on this planet. And it's tinkering on that. It's right now, things are changing so quickly, we can't even keep up with it. So it makes me wonder if it will have something to do with the spread of AI, that this will help this happen.
For some reason, I thought Jesus was referring to the Spirit of truth coming when he said,
Well, you're right
the reign
about
of
that.
God.
Yeah, you're right about that, Rodney, because the Spirit of truth is why the power that the church had the power to spread the gospel so fast, right? Because that's when it started, if you think about it, right? All right. Good interpretation. All right. Who's up next?
Gary.
Huh? Gary?
Gary.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll take the next one because Gary's gone. And which this your eyes now behold is small beginning of the 12 commonplace men shall multiply and grow into eventually the whole earth shall be filled with the praise of my Father. And it will not be so much by the words you speak, but by the lives you live that men shall know you have been with me and have learned of the realities of the kingdom. And while I lay no grievous burdens upon your minds, I am about to put upon your souls the solemn responsibility of representing me in the world when I shall presently leave you. And as I now represent my Father in this life, which I am living in the flesh. And when he had finished speaking, he stood up. So he's basically telling them that the burden will fall on them very soon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So next, the ordination.
I'm back if you want me to do it. I had a interruption.
Okay. 2, the ordination. Jesus now instructed the 12 mortals who had just listened to his declaration concerning the kingdom to kneel in a circle about him. Then the master placed his hands upon the head of each apostle, beginning with Judas Iscariot and ending with Andrew. When he had blessed them, he extended his hands and prayed.
Okay. Pam, would you take the next one, please?
Yeah. You would think when Christ put his hand on Judas that it would have had
Straightened
some
out his
kind of
mind, maybe?
freedom, I know?
I know.
I mean, there's a lot of
think
energy
so.
there. Can you imagine Jesus putting your hand on him?
He does
My
every day,
father,
Pam.
huh?
He does every day. He puts
Yeah.
his hand on me every day. That's why I get up and do what I do. Because without it, there is no way I could make it through the day. All the different things I got going on.
Roger, you're mistaken.
Huh?
That was his foot kicking you out of bed.
Maybe so. I don't know.
Ah.
All right, Pam.
My father, I now bring to you these men, my messengers, From among our children on earth, I have chosen these 12 to go forth to represent me as I came forth to represent you. Love them and be with them as you have loved and been with me. And now, my Father, give these men wisdom as I place all the affairs of the coming kingdom in their hands. And I would, if it is your will, tarry on earth a time to help them in their labors for the kingdom. And again, my Father, I thank you for these men, and I commit them to your keeping while I go on to finish the work you have given me to do.
Now, I want to mention something here with this paragraph is the fact that he not only is commissioning the 12 here, he is commissioning everyone that comes after them. Okay. So you have to think of this as the blessing not only for the apostles, but the blessings for yourselves and your lives to go forth and do the will of God in your life, you know. So that's the best way to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Rodney.
When Jesus had finished praying, the apostles remained each man bowed in his place. And it was many minutes before even Peter dared lift up his eyes to look upon the Master. One by one, they embraced Jesus, but no man said aught. A great silence pervaded the place, while a host of celestial beings looked down upon the solemn and sacred scene. The creator of a universe, placing the affairs of the divine brotherhood of man under the direction of human minds.
Wow.
And it's still under that direction, is it not?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus gave us a commission to go forth and spread the gospel, but he also gave us the commission to what? To run the world. And that's exactly what we're doing now. We're not doing a great job of it right now because we got so many corrupt people out there trying to run it. But that's why the celestial beings doesn't take back the world and control it from us, because we're supposed to gain experience from it. It's supposed to evolve, and that experience comes to us and through us as individuals and as a collective. So it's our responsibility to straighten out the messes that we have created. All right. Gary, would you take the next one, please?
Yeah. The ordination,
Yeah.
sermon, excuse me. Then Jesus spoke, saying, now that you are ambassadors of my Father's kingdom, you have thereby become a class of men separate and distinct from all other men on earth. You are now, not now as men among men, but as the enlightened citizens of another and heavenly country among the ignorant creatures of this dark world. That hasn't changed.
No, that's still the same, isn't it?
No, yeah. It is not enough that you live as you were before this hour, but henceforth must you live as those who have tasted the glories of a better life and have been sent forth to earth as ambassadors of the sovereign of that new and better world. Of the teacher, more is expected than of the pupil. Of the master, more is expected than of the servant. Of the citizens of the heavenly kingdom, more is required than of the citizens of the earthly world. Some of the things which I am about to say to you may seem hard, but you have elected to represent me in the world, even as I now represent the Father. And as my agents on earth, you will be obligated to abide by those teachings and practices which are reflective of my ideals of mortal living on the worlds of space, and which I exemplify in my earth life of revealing the Father who is in heaven.
Now, this paragraph is what I'm talking about when I talk about it. Apostleship takes more responsibility than discipleship, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you choose to follow God as an apostle, then all this extra things are added to you. Okay, and we've talked about this back in 2014, right? So I'll go on to the next one. I send you forth to proclaim liberty to the spiritual captives, joy to those who in the bondage of fear, and to heal the sick in accordance with the will of my Father in heaven. You will find my children, when you find my children in distress, speak encouragingly to them, saying, okay, notice here it says, heal the sick in accordance with the will of my Father in heaven. So if you think you can just go out and heal something and it's not the will of God, it's not going to happen. All right, sweetie.
Happy are the poor in spirit, the humble, for theirs are the treasures of the kingdom of heaven. Happy are they who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. Happy are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Happy are the pure in heart, for they shall see God.
Pam, would you take the next one?
Mhm. And even so, speak to my children these further words of spiritual comfort and promise. Happy are they who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Happy are they who weep, for they shall receive the spirit of rejoicing. Happy are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Happy are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the sons of God. Happy are they who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Happy are you when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely. Rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven. So that's a big promise.
It's a big promise, isn't it, Rodney?
Mhm.
My brethren, as I send you forth, you are the salt of the earth, salt with a saving savor. But if this salt has lost its savor, wherewith shall it be salted? It is henceforth good for nothing but to be cast out and trodden under foot of men.
So really, this is a challenge here, isn't it?
Mm.
I'm sending you forth, and you are the salt of the earth. And if you change nothing, then your salt is useless, right? So it's our responsibility to make changes for things around us, right? Gary,
I've
would
got
you?
a different I've got a different take on that. I see them as the salt, and if they change, they're useless.
If they what? They change?
Yeah, if they stray from the path, they're useless.
That's
They
true.
will lose. Okay.
That's true. It's a good interpretation of it too. All right, Gary, would you take the next one?
Yep. You are the light of the world. A city set upon a hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bush, but on a candlestick, and give it light to all who are in the house. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and be led to glory, your Father who is in heaven.
So don't hide when you're doing your good works, right? I am sending you out into the world to represent me and to act as ambassadors of my Father's kingdom. And as you go forth to proclaim the glad tidings, put your trust in the Father, whose messengers you are. Do not forcibly resist injustice. Put not your trust in the arms of the flesh. If your neighbor smites you on the right cheek, turn to him the other also. Be willing to suffer injustice rather than go to the law among yourselves. Don't sue each other, right? In kindness and mercy, minister to all who are in distress and need. All right,
Mhm.
Diane.
I say to you, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, and pray for those who desperately use you. Spitefully, excuse me,
Mm.
who spitefully use you. And whatsoever you believe that I would do to men, do you also to them.
Right, and that's the good things, right? Not the bad
Mm.
things.
Mhm.
Pam, would you take just the good, right?
Your Father in heaven makes the sun to shine on the evil as well as upon the good. Likewise, he sends rain on the just and the unjust. You are the sons of God. Even more, you are now the ambassadors of my Father's kingdom. Be merciful, even as God is merciful. And in the eternal future of the kingdom, you shall be perfect, even as your heavenly Father is perfect.
Notice he put that into the future, right? Because we're nowhere
Mm.
near perfect now.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Rodney, would you take the next one?
You are commissioned to save men, not to judge them. At the end of your earth life, you will all expect mercy. Therefore, do I require of you during your mortal life that you show mercy to all your brethren in the flesh. Make not the mistake of trying to pluck a mote out of your brother's eye when there is a beam in your own eye. Having first cast the beam out of your own eye, you can the better see to cast the mote out of your brother's eye.
Judge not shall, so you shall not be judged, right? That
Mm.
was perfectly here. All right. Gary, would you take the next one, please?
Discern the truth clearly. Live the righteous life fearlessly. And so shall you be my apostles and my Father's ambassadors. You have heard it said, if the blind lead the blind, they both shall fall into the pit. If you would guide others into the kingdom, you must yourselves walk in the clear light of a living truth. In all the business of the kingdom, I exhort you to show just judgment and kings not wisdom. Present not that which is holy to dogs, neither cast your pearls among the swine before the swine, lest they trample your gems underfoot and turn to
To
rend you,
tear at
excuse
you.
me.
Yes. In other words, use your wise judgment when you are teaching the gospel to those around you, and don't teach the gospel to people that have no interest in it. Right?
There's a passage in the book somewhere, I think somewhere we may come across it, where the apostles talk to them about when they go to some of these homes they talk to, and they just reject them. And he says, don't worry about it. They were given the opportunity.
Wipe the dust
Basic.
from your feet, I think was the statement, right?
I think you're right on.
Yeah.
Yes, to wipe the dust from your feet
And
and
move
go on
on.
to the next. Yeah, don't waste
That's
your
right.
time.
And that's what he's talking about here. It does no good to present holy concepts to dogs and put pearls in front of swine because they don't appreciate it. And there are beings in this planet that don't appreciate anything, right?
Mhm.
Just
You know,
turn
this
on your
past,
TV any night and you can find lots of it, right?
this past month, I've talked to two people who seemed extremely interested in the book. I told them, if they were interested, I got my email, I'll set you up,
Yeah.
and nothing has happened, and I thought for sure they would. I think sometime in the future they may. Who knows? So I keep this in mind, and I'm not a prophet. I'm not saying I am. I'm not patting myself on the back. It was just conversations that came up in the course of the other day, you know.
Yeah.
I'll shut up now.
I can't. I'm sorry, Gary. I can't hear anything you're saying for some reason.
Oh, he's
I know what.
muffled a little
Huh?
bit.
You
Hold
muffled
on.
a little bit? Yeah.
I've got the solution in hand.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
I
It's
think
still
it's yours, Roger.
Okay.
huh?
Can you
Oh,
hear me?
that's pretty.
Huh?
Yeah, I hear you a little
Yeah,
better. Yeah.
better.
Okay.
My hearing aids was picking up on the phone on the computer.
Yeah, you're coming in much better.
Yeah. You see, I've gotten enlightened. What I was saying is this past month, I talked to two different individuals who I thought they showed great interest in the book. And I gave them my email saying, if you're interested, I'm not going to bug you. If you're truly interested, here's my email. I'll set you up for the joining us and etc. Whatever they want.
Yeah.
And I got nothing. I talked to one the other day, and she says, "I'm just so busy." Uh, she's involved in a project I also happen to be involved in, and it is swamping her. I understand that,
Yeah.
but
Well,
Well, when the time
sometimes
is right.
sometimes you just have to go on doing your work without any response from anybody.
Mhm.
I've sent out 5 chapters in the last 2 weeks of the book that's finished. I've gone through the process of proofing it and everything and making the audio part of it, and I didn't get a response from anybody about any of it. So I don't know if people are getting it or not. So uh, did any of y'all get my emails on the chapters I've sent out?
I did, but I
In
wasn't
MP.
realizing that you wanted a response.
Well, no, I don't want a response. I was just trying to get the chapters all together, and I thought maybe
Mhm.
the people that's listening to the group might like to hear the chapters. I may be mistaken. I just need to stop sending them out. So I'm not sure.
I think the more the better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
I do.
I'm accumulating them. Be honest with you, because right now I am swamped.
Yeah, I know how that is. I stay swamped. Okay. Am I back up there again?
Yes.
Okay. In the great day of the kingdom judgment, in the great day of the kingdom judgment, many will say to me, did we not prophesy in your name, and by your name do many wonderful works? But I will be compelled to say to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, who are false teachers. Everyone who hears the charge and sincerely executes his commission to represent me before men, even as I has represented my Father to you, shall find an abundant entrance into my service, into the kingdom of the heavenly Father. And who's the type of people he's talking about here, y'all?
People who do it for glory.
People that do it for glory and money, right? And we
Mhm.
see these people on TV all the time. Send me $1, send me two. You'll get a blessing from God. He'll make you wealthy and all this stuff.
I've got it. It's worse than that. I've got a neighbor who is, a Christian in the traditional sense, and trashmen come down the street and they give them bottles of water and stuff like that if it's a hot day, and uh, they do various other things, like they'll weed whack a neighbor's yard or something like that. I got the impression it's more show than anything else. And so I think those people are in a false,
Yeah.
I don't think they're doing the will of God. I don't think they're doing it out of love of God or the directions of God. I think they're doing it saying, I'm a great Christian.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
There's something I want to say. I saw a video of a man, life after death, and he came back and he was a sheriff of the local community in somewhere in South Carolina, and a prominent man of the community, and he had adopted many children and he had foster kids and everything else, and he went to church every day and every Sunday and stuff like that. And in the telling of his story, I got the impression that he was doing it for self gain, political gain, recognition, etc. And he died, allegedly, life. And God says, You're going to hell. Now, I know we don't believe in hell, but that's the
Yeah.
story, and he, you know, called to God and everything. And the God says, You're not doing this on faith and good that works. You're doing it for your own glory and great gratification. And that's not what I'm about. And so he came back to earth to basically relay the message that this what we're discussing right now. And I think it was very important. So I'll leave you at that.
Okay. Never before had the apostles heard Jesus speak in this way. He had talked to them as one having supreme authority. They came down from the mountain about sundown, but no man asked Jesus a question. They were silent. All right. And that's two
Can
pictures
you
here.
imagine what they're going through their mind?
Yeah. Had a
What
lot to put
we
on
get
them.
ourselves in for?
Yeah. All right, Diane.
4. You are the salt of the earth. The so-called Sermon on the Mount is not the gospel of Jesus. It does contain, oh wait,
No, no, we can't hear you now.
You're muted now.
Yeah.
oh, okay. Just, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, jeepers. Yeah. No, not really. No, anyway. Okay. Uh, yeah, I got mixed up. 4. You are the salt of the earth. The so-called Sermon on the Mount is not the gospel of Jesus. It does contain much helpful instruction, but it was Jesus' ordination charge to the 12 apostles. It was the master's personal commission to those who were to go on preaching the gospel and aspiring to represent him in the world of men, even as he was so eloquently and perfectly representative of his Father.
Can I ask
And
something? What was the Sermon on the Mount? I can't.
that was the ordination sermon. People put it in the Bible as the Sermon on the Mount. They made no connection with the ordination of the apostles.
Ah.
That.
That's the difference.
Mm.
Okay, so if you look it up in the Bible, it says nothing about it being the ordination of the apostle, but that's what the Sermon on the Mount was about. Okay,
Now I get the connection
you get the
Mhm.
connection now. Okay,
very slowly.
so glad to enlighten you.
It was
Okay,
difficult.
Okay, Pam, would you take the next one?
You are the salt of the earth, salt with a saving savor. But if this salt has lost its savor, wherewith shall it be salted? It is henceforth good for nothing but to be cast out and trodden under foot of men.
What is he saying here?
Keep the faith.
Keep the faith. If you don't do what you're put out there for, you might as well be cast out and trodden under the foot of men because you're doing them no good if you don't do what you're put there for.
You know, the two apostles, and I forgot, were they the brothers that after Jesus's death, they didn't go out and preach. They went back to their normal lives.
Yes, that's because they didn't have the skill to go out and preach, Gary. Not everyone has the skill to be a spiritual leader. It's just the way it is, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's go on. I think Rodney's up.
In Jesus' time, salt was precious. It was even used for money. The modern word salary is derived from salt. Salt
I never knew that.
not only flavors food, but it is also a preservative. It makes other things more tasty, and thus it serves by being spent.
In other words, if it's the representation of salary or the way you get paid, and many people back in that time got paid in salt because of its value. And it could be traded and used and that sort of thing. And what he's saying here is if it's not used for food to make things more tasty or spent to get the things you need, what use is it? Right?
That's where the phrase, he was worth his salt today.
That's right. He's worth his weight in salt, right? All right. Gary, would you take the next one?
You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it gives light to all who are in the house. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and be led to glorify your Father who is in heaven.
So you got many talents. Everyone has many talents, right? So don't hide those talents. Be bold and use them in your life, right? Only by being bold and using them will people see the reflection of the will of God within you, right? All right. Let's see here. While light dispels darkness, it can also be blinding as to confuse and frustrate. We are admonished to let our light so shine that our fellows will be guided to new and godly paths of enhanced living. Our light should be so shine as not to attract attention to self. Even one's vocation can be utilized in an effective reflector for the dissemination of this light of life. So you don't have to be a fanatic to show your light, basically.
Strong characters are not derived from not doing wrong, but rather from actually doing right. Unselfishness is the badge of human greatness. The highest levels of self-realization are attained by worship and service. The happy and effective person is motivated not by fear of wrongdoing, but by love of right doing.
You notice it says by love of right doing, so it's not the trying to get away from the wrongdoing or trying to keep from doing wrong, but it's the love of doing right to people that builds your spiritual character and helps build them, right? Okay, Pam.
By their fruits you shall know them. Personality is basically changeless. That which changes, grows, is the moral character. The major error of modern religion is negativism. The tree which bears no fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. Moral worth cannot be derived from mere repression, obeying the injunction, thou shalt not. Fear and shame are unworthy motivations for religious living. Religion is valid only when it reveals the fatherhood of God and enhances the brotherhood of men.
So it's the things that thou shalt do that overrides the thou shalt nots, right? So,
Correct.
living a righteous life and doing those things that are best for humanity is the reward in itself, right? But those who do not do this and go on, those are not giving any rewards for what they're doing, right?
It indicates an error in the Christian traditional church in the sense that they follow the commandments given to Moses. Though the Ten Commandments are thou shalt not.
Yeah.
Correct.
And God's commandments are thou shalt. And Jesus gave us even in the Bible, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm going to try and quote it from memory. So I'm also going to be 80 Friday, so forgive me.
Oh, God bless you.
It says, Rabbi, what do we need to do to enter the kingdom of heaven? And he says, believe in God with all your heart and mind, and do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That is, to me, the crux of everything.
It is, because if you do that, you won't do the other 10 commandments, right? You'll never commit any
It's
of the other 10 commandments if you do that one thing. It really overrides everything.
You've got to remember the human race is stupid.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm including myself in that. Okay.
yeah,
And God would not give us 10 commandments when he could give us two
yeah,
because we're dumb.
yeah. Rodney,
Yes.
I think you're
Oh,
up.
right.
Yeah.
An
Just sit there
effective,
and look stupid, okay?
an effective philosophy of living is formed by a combination of cosmic insight and the total of one's emotional reactions to the social and economic environment. Remember, while inherited urges cannot be fundamentally modified, emotional responses to such urges can be changed. Therefore, the moral nature can be modified. Character can be improved. In the strong character, emotional responses are integrated and coordinated, and thus is produced a unified personality. Deficient unification weakens the moral nature and engenders unhappiness.
Would you like to explain all that, Roger?
Sure. Sure, I'd love to, if I got enough time here.
That is profound.
It
And
really is. But
so it gives you questions when you read it and you start to think a little bit, you know.
well, the crux of it is this. Everyone says it's my nature to do this and it's my nature to do that. Like it's my nature to drink, it's my nature to chase women, or men, whichever it is. Okay, it's my nature to sin against my neighbor, it's my nature to lie all the time. But in reality, all these are fundamental urges and emotional responses to stimulus. And you can change the response to any stimulus at any time in your life, and those responses become habitual. And when those responses become habitual, you're going by the will of God rather than your own will. And so these defective personality traits can be changed in anyone, and you can become a more moral and endearing person to the rest of the world by changing these emotional responses to stimulus. So if you see a beautiful woman, you don't have lustful thoughts. You think that's a beautiful woman. God's blessed her in a great amount. So, that sort of thing. So everything out there which you chase as what you would call sin can be changed and modified into a positive response in your life and make your life a whole lot happier. Is that a good enough explanation?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So let's go on. Who's up next? Me?
Gary.
Huh? Gary? Gary.
Gary
Okay.
is.
Gary, will you take that?
Yep. Without a worthy goal, life becomes aimless and unprofitable, and much unhappiness results. God, that's smart. Jesus' discourse at the ordination of the 12 constitutes a master's philosophy of life. Jesus exhorted his followers to exercise experimental faith,
Experiential faith.
experiential faith. He admonished them not to depend on mere intellectual assent. Credulous
Credulity. Yes.
credulity and established authority. What's credulity?
In other words,
Man, some. I'm an,
he's saying not just depend on your intellectual abilities and and what is accepted as a norm and the established authority on decisions you make in your life. Okay, it's up to you. All right. Okay, let's see here. Education should be a technique of learning, discovering the better methods of gratifying our natural and inherent urges and happiness as the result of total of these enhanced techniques of emotional satisfactions. Happiness is little dependent upon environment, though pleasing surroundings may greatly contribute there too. That's why money doesn't make you happy, right? Doesn't matter whatever is around you, if you don't have the natural ability to appreciate that which is not around you. Okay.
can
Let's
I
look at,
give you an insight into that?
huh?
I I read a book several years ago about the psychology. It was a guy that went through the Holocaust concentration camps and later become a doctor of psychology. But he said in the book that those people that went around and was helping other people, like they would give half their rations to someone who was dying of starvation and stuff to help them go forth, they are the ones that had a greater tendency to survive than the ones who were selfish.
Yeah. Did not, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And he based it on the fact that they had something to live for. He said when people give up, when they decided they had nothing to live for, they called them 10 dayers, and they said they'd be dead within 10 days.
Hmm.
Those
Every
were
more
extreme situations.
Yes.
every mortal really craves to be a complete person, to be perfect, even as the Father in heaven is perfect. And such attainment is possible because, in the last analysis, the universe is truly fatherly.
You notice the universe is truly following. In other words, it's friendly to you, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to stop there. Fatherly and brotherly love. We'll take up next time, section 5.
Okay.
Let me swap out the share real quick here. I think I'll pray tonight. I believe that God is my paradise Father, that only by faith am I saved. No sacrifice is necessary. By the same faith, I become a child of God and know that all men and women are my brothers and sisters. We know the Son of God, the sovereign of our universe of Nebadon, is Christ Michael, Jesus of Nazareth. By allowing the will of God to become my will, I will someday stand in the presence of the Paradise Father. In the name of Christ Michael, Jesus of Nazareth. Amen.
Amen.
And thanks everyone for coming to. It's exactly 7 o'clock, so we made it.
Oh, right on time.
Right on. I didn't think I was going to get that in.
Okay.
So, all right, y'all. I will see y'all Thursday. If the
Yes.
rise. All right. Thanks for
Thank
coming.
you.
We love you guys. We'll see you then.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Love you guys.